Reich. Oh my goodness, I'm obsessed with him. Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be filming another book recommendations video, and I'm going to be recommending you guys books with the trope Grumpy Sunshine. This is one of my favorite tropes ever. I literally love it. Grumpy Sunshine is literally everything when the guy's so grumpy and the girl's so sunshine, and it just works. I do have one rec that is opposite though, where the girl is grumpy and the guy is sunshine, because I haven't read a ton of books where the guy's grumpy. I mean, the girl's grumpy and the guy's sunshine. Today I have a bunch of books to recommend to you guys that fit this trope, so let's just go ahead and get into the video. Okay, so the first book that I'm going to be recommending to you guys today is The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. I feel like so many people have read this book, but it just fits perfectly for this trope. So this book follows Rowan and Zara, and basically Rowan's grandfather passes away and he leaves his whole empire and company to his 3 grandsons, but they can't get access to their part of the company without doing the thing that he wants them to do that he's left in the letter. So each brother has a different task, and this is going to become a series and you're going to get to see each brother's task. So Rowan's task is, well, Rowan's part of the company is the like theme park Dreamland, and he needs to revamp it essentially and make it better, and that's his task to do because he was the dreamer out of the 3 brothers and he's kind of lost that side of him throughout everything that's happened in his life, and he's like not so hopeful anymore, and his grandfather wants him to get that back, so he's tasked him with making Dreamland a better place. But Rowan kind of has no idea what he's going to do, and then he meets Zara. Zara is the most sunshine person ever. She's literally the best like main character. I love her, and she's so quirky and fun and just happy, and Rowan's complete opposite, and they do not like each other at first at all. Rowan is super obviously grumpy, and Zara wants to be one of the creators. I think that's what they're called. Oh, it's been a while since I read this book. And so she drunkenly writes this proposal, and Rowan ends up loving the idea that she submits and gives her the job as one of the creators. And she's been wanting to do this job for literally ages, but she never had the courage to, you know, submit her idea. So she gets drunk one night and does it, and then they start working together on, well, she starts working as a creator, coming up with all these ideas, and obviously Rowan is her like boss, is overseeing that, and they're working together and seeing each other all the time, and they're very attracted to each other, and you know, things are gonna happen, and it's super cute, and I'm literally obsessed. I love the whole vibe that this book gives off. It's literally like Disneyland. That's what Dreamland is, and Rowan's grandfather was basically like Walt Disney essentially, and so I literally love this book. It's so magical and like fun, and it's so good, and I cannot wait to read Terms and Conditions, which is the 2nd book in the series, and that comes out this year I believe. So yes, but this book is perfect for this trope. The next book that I have that fits this trope so well is A Nordic King. This book I literally loved. It's a single dad romance. You guys know I love single dad romances. This follows Axel and Aurora, and Axel is the king of Denmark, I believe. Is it Denmark? God, I could be wrong. He's the king of some European country. I don't remember which one, but he's the king, and he has 2 daughters, and they're literally the most adorable little princesses ever. I love them, and he needs a nanny, and so Aurora is living in wherever they are. I do not remember. I'm pretty sure she's from Australia though, which I literally loved, and so she's living there doing nannying jobs, and her like company is like, hey, we have this job for you to like work with the king, like you've just got to like obviously go to the interview, and if they want you, they want you. And so she goes to the interview. The person that interviews her absolutely loves her, and the kids absolutely love her, and then it's time for her to meet Axel. Axel is literally like, no, absolutely not, I do not want her to be the nanny. Doesn't even give her a chance, even though she's so good with the kids and everyone loves her. But Axel doesn't want her to be there because he's super attracted to her, and he doesn't want anything to do with her because of that. Eventually though, she does get the job, and obviously she's nannying the kids. She's going to be around Axel all the time. He's literally so grumpy. He hates everything and everyone, and she is so bright and happy, and they're complete opposites, but it just works so well. And eventually, you know, things do happen. He is quite mean to her at the start though, for literally no reason, but yeah, this book is so cute and I loved it, and I loved like the royal vibe. The next book that I'm going to be recommending is The Silent Waters by Brittany C. Cherry. This book is actually girl is grumpy, guy is sunshine, and I mean the girl has a pretty big reason for being grumpy, but it still works. So this follows Brooks and Maggie, and I freaking love this book. It's so heartbreaking, and basically Brooks and Maggie are childhood best friends. Something super tragic happens to Maggie and causes her to become mute, and so she hasn't spoken a word since this really tragic thing happened to her, and she becomes very closed off. She doesn't really leave her house, she doesn't do anything, and Brooks is kind of her safe space, and they form this friendship that turns into a relationship, and he is super happy and like brings that light into Maggie's world. This book is just so good, and it definitely works for grumpy sunshine if you're looking for where the guy is sunshine and the girl is grumpy. The next book that I'm going to be recommending to you guys is Make It Sweet by Kristen Callahan. I talked about this one in my December wrap up, so I'm not going to go too in depth with it, but this fits this trope so well. This follows Lucian and Emma, and Emma is a actor, and she basically gets killed off her show, and she doesn't really know what to do or where to go, and she's kind of really lost. And so her grandma is like best friends with Lucian's grandma, and so she ends up going to this like Holiday Inn type of thing and stays there while she kind of figures out what she's going to do, and that's where she meets Lucian, who is the grumpiest character ever. He hates life. He was in this really bad accident, and so he can't play hockey anymore, and hockey was his life, and so he doesn't really know what he's doing, and he works around the inn. He's the chef there. We love a chef, like that's so hot. And he's like a baker. Like he makes all the food, but he mainly like he loves to bake, and I'm like, oh my god, like hello, that's so hot. He doesn't really know what he's doing with his life either, and he's super grumpy and hates the world because he just wants to play hockey but he can't. And Emma comes in, and she's super happy despite her situation, and kind of brings the sunshine into Lucian's world. And Lucian and Emma are super attracted to each other, but Lucian doesn't really want anything to do with her. He's like, no, like I can't let that happen. And obviously things slowly do happen between them, and this book is so steamy, oh my goodness, but it's so freaking good and works so well for this trope. The next book that I have to recommend to you guys today is A Risk on Forever by N.S. Perkins. This book follows Matthias and Addie, and basically Addie is looking for a job, and she comes across this ad for someone looking for a caregiver to a woman with ALS. Yes, ALS. And Addie's mom had ALS, so she's pretty experienced and knows how to provide, you know, care for someone with that disease. And so she applies for this job, and Matthias interviews her, who is the woman's son, and immediately he's like, no, like I don't care how much experience you have, like no, like I don't want you to do this job. And no one really understands why. It's because he's super attracted to her. But Matthias's mum really loves her because she doesn't treat her like this, you know, broken, dying person. She just treats her like she's a normal person, and obviously that's what anyone wants. And so she gets hired, but Matthias doesn't really want anything to do with her. He's like grumpy, mad at the world, hates life, and she is this, you know, bright, happy person that comes in, and Matthias doesn't like that. And so yeah, they don't get along at first, so it is kind of enemies to lovers. It's more like a little bit of dislike, and eventually, you know, it gets better, and Matthias starts being nice to her, and you know, things kind of happen. And this book is like, it's more than just the romance. Addie forms such a close relationship with the mother, and she doesn't want to risk losing her job, so she doesn't really want to get involved with Matthias, and it's like it's a whole thing, but it's super good and perfect for this trope. The next book that I have is The Chase by Elle Kennedy. I'm not going to talk too much about this one because everyone literally has pretty much read it. It's the first book in the Bright You series, which is the spin-off to the Off Campus series, and if you haven't read this and you love Off Campus, definitely read the Bride You series because it's just as good. This one is about Summer and Fitzy. Summer is the epitome of sunshine. She is so happy, so fun, so bright, and she just loves life. And Fitzy is just super grumpy, and for literally like no reason. He's just like super quiet, mysterious, and just grumpy. They are both super attracted to each other and have been for ages, and Summer is really into Fitzy and Fitzy's really into Summer, but Fitzy won't let anyone know that he's into Summer because of his friendship with Dean, Summer's brother. So it's kind of brother's best friend, except, you know, I wouldn't call it that because Fitzy and Dean aren't like besties, but they are friends and they did play hockey together, and so it's like he doesn't really want to get involved with her, but Summer ends up moving in with them, and she's super persistent, and she's like I'm into you. And Fitzy, this has the jealousy trope like hardcore. It's so good, and I'm obsessed, and this book is just stunning, and I definitely recommend you guys read it if you're looking for a good grumpy sunshine hockey player. Stunning. The next book that I have to recommend to you guys today is Mr. Masters by T.L. Swan. I freaking love this book. It's literally amazing. So this follows Bree and Julian, and Bree applies for this nannying job in England. She's Australian, and she thinks that she's nannying for this woman, but turns out she's actually nannying for Julian, who is the grumpiest, closed off, I hate life man ever. She's living in the house with the kids and Julian in like the back room type of thing, and so she's around him all the time, and they're both super attracted to each other, but nothing can really happen because he's her boss. The kids really love her. Well, one of the kids really loves her. The other kids kind of, she's a teenager, she kind of hates the world, but she gets along really well with the kids, and you know, she's a really good nanny, and she doesn't want to, you know, risk that happening. Julian doesn't want to risk getting involved with her and then the kids finding out and that being a whole complicated situation, so they kind of stay away from each other, but you know, they can't resist each other for long, so things eventually do happen, and this book is so steamy. The smut in this book is stunning. I literally love it. And the last book that I have, I'm just going to briefly mention because it works so perfectly for Grumpy Sunshine, but I feel like everyone's already read these books, and it's also the 5th book in a series, and that is Hot House Flower by Krista and Becca Ritchie. Rack and Daisy, literally everything Rack. Oh my goodness, I'm obsessed with him. This book is phenomenal, and you have to read it if you haven't. Like, read the whole Addicted / Cowboy Sisters series. It's amazing. But this is the 2nd book in the Cowboy Sisters series, but the 5th book in, if you're reading them combined. It's so complicated. But this is the epitome of grumpy sunshine. Like, Rack is the grumpiest man. Daisy is so happy and so sunshine, and it's friends to lovers, forbidden romance. So good. This is probably my favorite in the series so far. It's amazing, and I just had to mention it because it's perfect for this trope. And that is all the books that I have to recommend to you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any more recommendations for Grumpy Sunshine, leave them in the comments below because I'm always looking for books with this trope. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.